The Academy's corridors were quiet in the late afternoon, bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun. Lyra walked alongside Kale, her heart pounding with anticipation. Today was the final day of their journey through the hidden chamber. She had already faced puzzles, simulations, and tests of courage, but a sense of mystery lingered. What was the ultimate lesson humans had left for them? Kyle paused near the restricted wing. "Are you ready for the final layer?" he asked. Lyra nodded firmly. "I am. I want to see everything humans left behind. I want to understand them completely." Together they moved through the twisting corridors, stepping carefully over the familiar glowing panels. Today the Academy felt different. The walls hummed faintly as if responding to their presence. Lyra could feel the energy of the human's legacy guiding her steps, filling her with excitement and determination. At the hidden panel, Kyle pressed the familiar sequence and the wall slid open, revealing the golden light of the chamber. Lyra stepped inside, her eyes drawn immediately to the heart of knowledge. It pulsed brightly, stronger than ever, as if acknowledging their readiness. Kale gestured toward the artifact. "This is it, the final challenge. Humans designed it to test everything: courage, intelligence, trust, and wisdom. Only by facing it together can we unlock the ultimate secret." Lyra took a deep breath, her excitement mingled with nerves. "Then let's begin," she said, stepping closer. The heart of knowledge glowed, projecting a massive holographic scene above the pedestal. They found themselves on a distant, alien world, far harsher than any they had encountered before. Mountains towered like giants, storms swirled violently across the sky, and deep chasms split the ground. A soft voice echoed in the air. "Only those who act with courage and wisdom may proceed to understand the human's greatest legacy." "This is incredible," Lyra whispered. "It feels so real." Kale nodded. Humans wanted their lessons to be experienced, not just observed. "We must face this together, step by step." They moved cautiously across the jagged terrain, battling strong winds and unstable ground. Every step required careful thought and steady courage. Lyra felt fear rising, but she reminded herself of the lessons they had learned, the importance of patience, observation, and trust. She glanced at Kale, who gave her a reassuring nod. Together they pressed forward. Suddenly, the ground beneath them shifted. A massive chasm opened, separating them from the next platform. Lyra froze, but Kale reached out. "We have to trust each other," he said. "We can do this." With careful coordination, they leaped across the chasm, landing safely on the other side. The heart of knowledge pulsed in response, projecting a sequence of symbols that formed a complex puzzle. Lyra studied it carefully, recalling everything they had learned. Patterns emerged, lines connecting symbols, and she realized the puzzle required not just logic, but intuition and courage. "This is it," Kale said. "Humans designed it to reward those who combine heart and mind. We must act decisively." Lyra nodded, moving quickly but carefully. Together they manipulated the symbols, aligning them in the correct order. Some shifted unexpectedly, testing their patience. Others demanded precise timing, forcing them to act with boldness. Step by step they solved the puzzle, their minds and instincts working in perfect harmony. Finally, the last symbol clicked into place. A brilliant light erupted from the heart of knowledge, filling the chamber and projecting a vast holographic archive. Images of humans appeared, showing their greatest achievements, exploration of unknown worlds, acts of bravery in impossible situations, inventions that had changed the course of history. Lyra's eyes widened in awe. "They really were extraordinary," she whispered. "They faced danger, uncertainty, and still they succeeded." Kale smiled, his expression softening. "Yes, and now we understand why. Humans left their knowledge not to show power, but to teach courage, resilience, and creativity. Their greatest lesson is that even in the face of impossible odds, determination and collaboration can achieve greatness." The final holographic display revealed a human figure standing on a cliff, gazing at distant stars. The figure spoke, though the words were translated into their minds. "We may be gone from this galaxy, but our courage, our knowledge, and our spirit remain. Let those who follow us learn, act, and inspire. Face challenges with courage, and you will honor our legacy." Lyra felt a shiver run down her spine. "It's like they're speaking directly to us," she said softly. Kale nodded. "They are. This is why the heart of knowledge exists. Humans wanted successors who could learn, who could act with courage and wisdom. We are the ones they chose indirectly to carry their lessons forward. For a long moment, Lyra and Kale stood together, absorbing the magnitude of the humans' legacy. Lyra felt a mix of awe, pride, and determination. The humans had faced danger she could scarcely imagine, yet their courage, intelligence, and creativity had endured. I understand now, Lyra said quietly. It's not just about the artifacts or the puzzles or the knowledge. It's about the spirit of humans, their courage, their creativity, their determination to never give up. Kale placed a hand gently on her shoulder. Exactly. And we carry that spirit now. It is our responsibility to honor it, to learn from it, and to share it wisely. Humans may be gone, but their legacy will live through us. The heart of knowledge pulsed one last time, projecting a golden light that enveloped them both. Lyra felt warmth, energy, and understanding flowing through her. She realized that the humans' lessons were more than knowledge. They were inspiration, guiding those who dared to act, think, and face the unknown. As the holographic projection faded, the chamber returned to its quiet, golden-lit state. Lyra looked around at the relics, each one a testament to human courage and ingenuity. She felt a sense of gratitude and responsibility. Kyle, she said softly, we have to protect this. We have to make sure their lessons are remembered and used to inspire others. Kyle nodded. We will. This is just the beginning. The humans' knowledge is vast, and their legacy is more than just what we have seen. There is much to explore and much to learn, but together we can carry it forward. Lyra smiled, feeling a sense of purpose stronger than anything she had ever felt. Then let's do it. We will honor their legacy and make sure their courage and wisdom are never forgotten. As they carefully closed the hidden panel, sealing the chamber once more, Lyra felt a spark of determination in her chest. She knew the journey was far from over. There would be more challenges, more puzzles, and more lessons. But she was ready. With Kale by her side, she could face anything, inspired by the courage and brilliance of humans who had once shaped the galaxy. Walking back through the quiet corridors of the Academy, Lyra glanced at the stars outside the windows. They twinkled like distant beacons, reminders of the humans who had once explored, discovered, and inspired. She whispered softly, almost to herself, we will carry your legacy. We will face the unknown, and we will be brave just like you. Kyle looked at her and nodded, and in doing so, we will honor them in a way they would be proud of. Humans were extraordinary, and now we are part of their story. Together, we will make sure their spirit lives on. Lyra felt a surge of excitement and hope. The hidden chamber, the heart of knowledge, and the human's legacy were no longer distant mysteries. They were part of her life, guiding her steps, inspiring her thoughts, and challenging her courage. She knew that the adventure was only beginning, that the lessons of humans would continue to unfold, and that the galaxy itself could be changed by the wisdom and courage they had left behind. As they left the Academy wing, the golden light of the heart of knowledge pulsed faintly in her mind, a reminder of the human's enduring spirit. Lyra and Kale walked side by side, ready to face the future, guided by courage, trust, and the lessons of a species that had once reached for the stars, and left a legacy to inspire generations to come. For the first time, Lyra felt a certainty she had never known. She had discovered more than relics. She had discovered inspiration, courage, and a purpose that would guide her life. And she knew deep in her heart that the human's legacy would never fade, as long as she and Kale were willing to carry it forward. The stars outside twinkled, as if in agreement, and Lyra smiled, ready to embrace the adventures that awaited them, and the lessons that would continue to shape their lives, their courage, and the future of the galaxy. The morning sun filtered through the Academy windows, casting long golden rays across the polished floors. Lyra hurried through the hallways, her mind alive with excitement and anticipation. Yesterday's challenges with Kale had left her energized, eager to return to the hidden chamber. Every step she took echoed in the quiet corridors, but she barely noticed. Her focus was entirely on the relics and the humans' lessons that awaited her. Kyle was already waiting for her near the restricted wing. His calm expression hid the excitement she could see in his eyes. Are you ready? He asked softly. Lyra nodded. Yes, I want to continue learning. I want to see what comes next. They moved through the twisting corridors together, silent and careful. Today, their journey felt different. It was no longer just following a path. They were partners now, aware of each other's movements, watching for any sign that might disrupt their progress. The air seemed charged with anticipation, and Lyra could feel it tingling along her skin as they approached the hidden panel. Kyle pressed the sequence of touches that opened the wall, and the familiar golden light spilled into the corridor. The chamber welcomed them like an old friend. Lyra stepped inside, heart pounding, her eyes immediately drawn to the heart of knowledge. It glowed more brightly than yesterday, as if it sensed their readiness to face a greater challenge. "Today," Kyle said softly, "the humans will test our courage, not just our minds." Lyra's curiosity sharpened. "Courage?" Kyle nodded. "Yes, knowledge alone is not enough. Humans believed that courage, the ability to face fear and the unknown, is what defines greatness. Their lessons are layered, and today we reach the layer that tests the heart as much as the mind." Lyra took a deep breath. The golden light from the artifact filled the room, and a holographic map appeared above the pedestal. It projected a scene of a distant planet, craggy and harsh with swirling storms and jagged cliffs. Tiny human figures moved across the surface, struggling against the wind and the danger that surrounded them. "This is a simulation," Kyle explained. "Humans designed it to teach problem-solving under pressure. We must navigate it, understand it, and find the solution, but it will challenge everything we've learned." Lyra felt a thrill run through her. "Then let's do it." Kale extended his hand toward the simulation. As they touched the projection, the room dissolved around them. Suddenly, they were standing on the surface of the holographic planet. The wind howled in their ears, the ground beneath them uneven and unstable. Lyra's eyes widened at the realism. The humans had designed these simulations to be immersive, to force participants to experience fear and uncertainty. "Stay close," Kyle said, his voice steady. "We need to reach the center of the storm. That is where the knowledge is hidden." Lyra nodded, gripping his hand. Every step forward was a challenge. The winds buffeted them. The terrain threatened to trip them, and shadows of danger flickered along the cliffs. It was the first time she truly understood the humans' courage, the same courage that had allowed them to survive impossible odds. "This is harder than I expected," Lyra admitted, struggling to keep her balance. Kale smiled faintly. "Yes, but humans believed that challenges teach more than comfort ever could. Focus on each step. Trust your instincts, and trust me." Together they navigated the treacherous terrain. Lyra marveled at how intuitive Kale was, guiding her past unstable ground, warning her of hidden pitfalls and encouraging her when fear threatened to slow her down. They moved with a rhythm, a combination of careful observation and bold action, slowly reaching the center of the simulation. Suddenly, a massive holographic boulder appeared, blocking their path. The energy of the artifact pulsed strongly, signaling that this was the ultimate test of courage. Lyra froze for a moment. The boulder was enormous, and the winds around it threatened to push them back. "We have to move it," Kale said calmly. "Together." Humans believed that courage combined with action can overcome the impossible. Lyra nodded, placing her hands on the boulder. To her surprise, it responded, shifting slightly under her touch. Kale joined her, and together they pushed. The boulder moved slowly but steadily. The wind howled, shadows flickered, but they did not stop. Step by step, inch by inch, they shifted the massive obstacle, until finally it rolled away, revealing a glowing symbol etched into the ground, a key to the next layer of human knowledge. Lyra's heart raced. "We did it!" she exclaimed, feeling a surge of triumph. Kale nodded, smiling. Humans rewarded those who faced fear, who acted with courage, and who worked together. This is why their lessons endure. It is not enough to know. One must act. The simulation shifted again. A holographic pathway appeared, leading them to a temple-like structure. Inside, they found devices and relics glowing softly, each one a piece of knowledge left by humans. Lyra approached carefully, feeling the energy radiating from them. "These artifacts are more than tools," Kale said. "They contain principles, solutions to problems humans faced, and lessons about resilience. Every challenge we overcome strengthens our understanding and our character." Lyra nodded, her eyes wide with wonder. She carefully examined a device resembling a mechanical compass. As she touched it, holographic images of human explorers appeared, demonstrating their methods of navigation, observation, and teamwork. The images were vivid and detailed, showing humans using ingenuity to survive and thrive in harsh environments. They really were remarkable, Lyra whispered. They solve problems we would struggle to even imagine. Kale placed his hand on her shoulder. Yes, and we are learning from them. Humans designed their legacy not just to teach knowledge, but to inspire courage, ingenuity, and trust. We must honor that by understanding it fully. As they explored deeper into the temple, the challenges grew more complex. Some required observation and pattern recognition. Others demanded precise timing and careful coordination. Each test was designed to reflect a principle the humans valued: bravery, cleverness, perseverance, and trust. Lyra and Kale worked in perfect harmony, their minds and instincts aligned. Guided by the wisdom of a species long gone, at one point, they reached a chamber filled with floating holographic shapes, each one glowing with golden light. A soft voice echoed in the air. Only those who act with courage and wisdom may proceed. Lyra hesitated, feeling the weight of the challenge. The shapes shifted unpredictably, forming barriers and obstacles that required quick thinking and decisive action. Kale stepped forward confidently. We face it together, he said. We trust each other. That is the lesson humans wanted us to learn. Hand in hand, they navigated the floating shapes, moving with precision and care. Lyra's heart raced, but she felt a deep sense of determination. Step by step, they cleared the obstacles until finally, they reached a pedestal at the center of the chamber. On it rested a glowing relic pulsing with a gentle golden light, the symbol of human courage and knowledge. Kyle carefully lifted the relic. The chamber pulsed with energy, projecting holographic images of humans performing acts of bravery, exploring unknown worlds, and inventing tools that shaped their survival. Lyra watched, feeling a wave of awe and inspiration. They left this for us, Kale said softly. A reminder that courage, intelligence, and trust are the greatest strengths any species can have. Humans may be gone, but their legacy lives on through those willing to learn. Lyra nodded, her eyes shining. And we will honor it. We will carry their lessons forward, and we will never forget what they achieved. As they prepared to leave the chamber, the simulation dissolved, returning them to the hidden temple within the academy. Lyra's mind was alive with the lessons of the humans, the challenges they had overcome, and the courage required to face the unknown. She realized that their journey was only beginning, that the humans' legacy held more challenges, more knowledge, and more inspiration than she could imagine. Kale turned to her, his expression calm but determined. Tomorrow we continue. There are still layers to uncover, lessons to learn, and challenges that will test us in ways we cannot yet predict. But together we can face them. Lyra smiled, feeling a sense of purpose and excitement unlike anything she had ever known. I'm ready, she said. Let's discover everything humans left for us. The golden light of the heart of knowledge pulsed softly, as if acknowledging their promise, and Lyra knew that this journey, filled with courage, discovery, and inspiration, was only the beginning. The humans' legacy was alive, waiting to guide them through challenges that would test their minds, their hearts, and their determination. As they left the hidden chamber, careful to close the secret panel, Lyra felt a spark of anticipation. Tomorrow would bring new tests, new discoveries, and perhaps the next great lesson from a species that had once shaped the galaxy. And she would be ready. With Kale by her side, she knew they could uncover every secret, honor every lesson, and carry the courage of humans forward into the unknown. The next day, Lyra could barely sit still in her lessons. Every sound in the academy, the tapping of pens, the quiet hum of the lights, the low chatter of students, reminded her of the hidden chamber and the glowing artifact. Her mind replayed the golden light, the strange devices, and the stories Kale had whispered about humans long gone. She felt a pull toward the chamber, stronger than curiosity now, a pull she could not resist. When the last class ended, she followed Kale as usual. This time her steps were quicker, more confident. Kale moved silently as if he knew the path perfectly, down the twisting corridors and past the smooth, glowing walls of the restricted wing. Lyra stayed close, careful not to make a sound, yet eager to see what lay ahead. At the panel in the hidden corridor, Kale pressed the familiar sequence, and the wall slid open. The golden light of the chamber spilled out like a promise. Lyra took a deep breath and stepped inside, heart pounding. Kyle was already near the glowing artifact, the heart of knowledge. Its light pulsed softly as if welcoming them. Are you ready? Kale asked softly, His eyes met hers and she nodded without hesitation. "This is it," she whispered. "I want to understand them. Everything humans left behind." Kale smiled faintly. Humans were clever and brave. But their knowledge is layered. Each layer tests not just your mind, but your courage, your patience, and your ability to trust. Are you prepared for that? Lyra felt a thrill of excitement mixed with nerves. "Yes, I trust you, Kale. Let's do this together." Kale extended his hand toward the heart of knowledge. The globe pulsed brightly in response and a soft hum filled the room. Then a holographic display erupted from its center. Lines of glowing symbols, images of machines, and moving patterns filled the air. The artifact was alive, showing them the first challenge, a puzzle that humans had designed centuries ago to protect their lessons. The humans designed this to see if someone could understand their thinking, Kale explained. It tests logic, observation, and courage. We must solve it step by step. No rushing. Lyra stepped closer to the glowing display. The puzzle was unlike anything she had seen. Geometric shapes floated in the air, connected by thin lines of light. The shapes shifted slowly, rearranging themselves as if responding to her presence. She frowned, concentrating. "Look at the patterns," Kale said. "Notice how they move. Humans think in layers. They combine observation with intuition. Sometimes the answer is not obvious, but the patterns reveal it if you watch carefully." Lyra studied the shapes. She noticed small symbols etched into the edges of some shapes, faint markings that aligned only at certain angles. Carefully, she reached out with her hand, guiding a triangular shape to match a hexagon. The shapes glowed brighter in response. "Good," Kyle said, nodding. "Now let's try the next layer." The challenge grew more complex. More shapes appeared, some floating above, some below. Lyra and Kale had to work together. Kale suggesting patterns he recognized from human design. Lyra observing connections and noticing angles he could not see. Their hands moved in harmony, guiding shapes into place, turning levers of light, connecting lines across the holographic space. For a moment, the shapes resisted, spinning away from their attempts. Lyra's brow furrowed. "It's like it's alive," she whispered. "It wants us to think, to try harder." "That's the point," Kale said. "Humans didn't just test knowledge. They tested patience and courage. Giving up is not allowed." Lyra's heart raced, but she took a deep breath, steadying herself. Slowly, carefully, she adjusted the shapes again. Kale mirrored her actions. The holographic patterns began to respond positively, glowing brighter, moving into alignment. A soft chime echoed in the chamber. They had solved the first layer. "See?" Kale said, a small smile on his face. "Humans reward those who observe carefully, who don't give up." "You're doing well." Lyra felt a surge of pride. She had never felt this kind of excitement before. It was not just about solving a puzzle. It was about understanding humans, feeling their thought process, and proving her determination. The artifact pulsed once more, and a second challenge appeared. This one was different. A series of floating symbols formed a grid, and a soft voice echoed in the chamber, speaking in a language Lyra barely understood. The symbols shifted when touched, some locking in place, some moving unpredictably. "This is about intuition," Kale said quietly. Humans were not always logical. They combined logic with instinct. Sometimes the answer comes from feeling the right move, not just thinking it. Lyra hesitated. "Feeling it?" she asked. Kyle nodded. "Yes, trust yourself. And trust the knowledge humans left behind." They wanted their successors to use both heart and mind. Lyra closed her eyes for a moment, letting her instincts guide her. She reached out, touching a cluster of symbols, and felt a faint warmth travel up her arm. The symbols glowed brightly and moved into place. Encouraged, she guided the rest of the grid, moving slowly but confidently. Kale followed her lead, helping with the trickier pieces. Finally, the grid locked into position and the artifact pulsed strongly, filling the chamber with golden light. Holographic images of humans appeared, showing acts of courage, innovation, and discovery. Lyra gasped. "They really were amazing," she whispered. "They faced dangers we can't even imagine. And they still succeeded." Kale's eyes softened. "Yes, and now we are learning from them." Humans wanted their lessons to survive, but only if someone was willing to understand their courage, not just their knowledge. A third layer appeared. This time it was a challenge that required teamwork. A holographic simulation projected a scene of a collapsing structure. Floating shapes represented beams, supports, and energy sources. The task was clear: stabilize the structure using the holographic tools. Lyra realized this challenge mirrored humans' ingenuity under pressure. "We have to work together perfectly," Kyle said. "The structure won't respond if we act separately." "Coordination is key," Lyra nodded. They divided tasks. She focused on aligning energy beams while Kale adjusted supports. Every movement had to be precise. One wrong placement could collapse the structure. Her hands moved quickly but carefully, guided by Kale's instructions. For minutes they worked in silence, communicating only through gestures and small hints. The tension was high. Lyra's heart pounded as the simulation shook. The glowing beams flickered. She took a deep breath, steadying herself, and carefully adjusted a critical support. Kale did the same. The simulation stabilized. The artifact pulsed brightly, and the images of humans smiled faintly in the hologram. Lyra felt a wave of triumph and amazement. "We did it," she exclaimed softly. Kale nodded, a rare look of satisfaction on his face. Humans rewarded courage, cleverness, and trust, and now we have proven ourselves worthy of learning more. But remember, this is just the beginning. Lyra's chest swelled with pride. She had never felt more alive, more connected to something beyond herself. Humans, though long gone, had left a legacy of courage and intelligence, and she could feel it coursing through the chamber, guiding her steps. Kyle moved to the heart of knowledge and placed his hand gently on it. The globe glowed brighter, projecting more images. Maps of human exploration, designs of incredible machines, and visions of places she could only dream of. "These lessons, they are meant to inspire," Kale said softly. "Humans wanted their successors to think, to create, to face challenges without fear. That is why they left this behind." Lyra stepped closer, her eyes wide with wonder.
"Then we are part of their story now."
"We are the ones who will carry their legacy." Kyle nodded. "Yes, but it will not be easy. The challenges ahead will test us in ways we cannot yet imagine. Humans designed their relics to prepare those who could face the galaxy's unknowns with courage and wisdom." For a long moment, they stood together in the golden light, feeling the power and knowledge of the humans around them. Lyra knew that this adventure was changing her, not just teaching her about humans, but about herself, her courage, and her ability to face the unknown. As they carefully closed the hidden panel for the day, Lyra felt a spark of determination deep inside her. Tomorrow they would return, and tomorrow they would face even greater challenges. She knew that with Kyle by her side, she could uncover the secrets of the humans and carry their legacy forward. The stars outside twinkled through the academy windows, silent witnesses to the beginning of a new chapter. Lyra looked at them and whispered softly, "We will learn from you, and we will make sure the galaxy remembers." The golden light of the heart of knowledge pulsed once more, as if acknowledging her promise, and Lyra smiled, ready for whatever the humans had left for her to discover next. The next day, Lyra could barely concentrate in her classes. Her thoughts kept drifting back to the hidden chamber and the glowing relics she had seen. Even the hum of the academy, the chatter of other students, and the lessons about alien technology seemed dull compared to the adventure she had glimpsed yesterday. Kyle moved through the hallways with his usual calm, unaware, or perhaps pretending to be unaware, of her growing curiosity. After the final class ended, Lyra's pulse quickened. Today she would not just follow him quietly. Today she would find out more. She waited until most students had left the corridor, then slipped behind him, her steps soft against the polished floor. Kale's figure moved ahead, his posture relaxed but his eyes focused. Lyra followed, careful not to be seen. The path Kale took was different this time. He turned into a section of the academy Lyra had never noticed before, an area with doors that looked ordinary but felt strange. The walls here were smoother, colder, and the lighting softer, almost secretive. Lyra's heart raced. Something important was here, something that Kale was protecting. Kale paused in front of one of the doors, a subtle glow around the frame. He reached out and the door slid open silently, revealing a narrow staircase that led downward. Lyra froze for a moment, thinking of turning back. But the thought of the human relics, of the glowing artifacts she had seen yesterday, pushed her forward. She followed him carefully down the stairs, her ears straining for any sound that could reveal her presence. The staircase ended in a small corridor, almost like a hidden passage. Kale moved confidently as if he had been here before, though Lyra knew he had only discovered the chamber yesterday. The walls were lined with faint carvings, symbols that pulsed with energy, and Lyra felt a tingle run through her fingertips. The air smelled faintly metallic with a hint of something warm and alive, like the chamber itself was breathing. Finally, they reached the hidden chamber. Kale pressed the same panel on the wall as before, and the golden light filled the room. Lyra stayed behind the doorway, peeking cautiously. Kale stepped inside and immediately moved to the pedestal where the glowing artifact rested. He held it gently as if it were fragile, and his eyes shone with awe. This is remarkable," he whispered. "Every detail, every design. Humans thought of solutions no one else could imagine. They were clever and brave." Lyra stepped a little closer, unable to resist. Her curiosity overpowered her caution. "Kale," she said softly. The sound of her voice made him start slightly, but he quickly recognized her. "Lyra?" Kale asked, a faint smile forming. "You followed me?" "I wanted to know more," Lyra admitted, her ears tingling with nervousness. "What is this place? Why are humans so hidden?" Kale nodded slowly, setting the artifact back on the pedestal. "This is a chamber of human relics," he explained. "Humans disappeared from known space centuries ago. Most believe they vanished entirely, but they left behind their knowledge hidden in places like this. Only someone who understands them can access it." Lyra's eyes widened. "So, you're saying humans were not just legends?" "Exactly," Kyle said. "They were real. They built incredible things, solved problems no one else could, and faced dangers with courage. Their legacy was meant to survive even if they didn't." Lyra felt a rush of admiration. "And this chamber? It's full of their relics?" "Yes," Kale replied, moving to another pedestal. This one held a small metallic device, its surface etched with symbols. Some of these objects contain knowledge, others contain energy. They were careful. They wanted their lessons to survive, but only for those who were worthy. Lyra stepped fully into the room, her eyes scanning the artifacts. She had never felt energy like this before. It was subtle, almost alive, brushing against her skin in gentle pulses. "Worthy?" she asked. "How do you know you're worthy?" Kale smiled faintly. "I don't, that's why it's a test. Humans designed these artifacts to reveal themselves only to those who could understand them. They judge by courage, by intelligence, and by honesty." Lyra felt a thrill of excitement. "So, if we work together, maybe we can unlock more secrets?" Kyle considered her words for a moment, then nodded. "Yes, but we must be careful. The chamber has protections. If anyone else discovers it, they might misuse the knowledge. Humans valued their lessons more than their power. That is why secrecy is important." For a few moments they explored the chamber together. Kale showed her scrolls filled with human diagrams, notes on inventions, and stories of courage. Lyra marveled at the ingenuity of the humans. Some designs seemed impossible, even for the Academy's brightest minds. Others were simple, yet brilliant in their practicality. "This is incredible," Lyra said. "Humans, they were so brave even when everything was against them. And their inventions, some of these could change the galaxy." Kale's eyes softened. "Yes, that is why I am here. I want to understand, protect, and maybe one day share their lessons. But not yet. The galaxy is not ready for this knowledge." As they moved deeper into the chamber, they reached a section Lyra had not noticed before. A small alcove contained a relic unlike the others. It was a smooth, dark object, shaped almost like a globe, with intricate lines glowing faintly across its surface. Lyra stepped closer, feeling a gentle warmth radiate from it. "What is this?" she asked, reaching out but stopping just short. Kyle's expression grew serious. "This is the heart of knowledge. Humans used it to record their greatest lessons, their courage, and their discoveries. It responds only to those who are willing to learn, not just take. It is alive in a way." Lyra's hand hovered near the globe. She felt a strange connection, as if it recognized her presence. "Alive?" she whispered. Kale nodded. "It can judge. It can guide. It can reveal truths, but only to those who respect it." For a moment neither spoke. Lyra's mind raced with questions, but she also felt a sense of calm. The chamber, the artifacts, and Kale's presence all seemed to tell her that she had found something extraordinary. Humans, though gone, had left a legacy that could inspire generations. Suddenly, a soft hum filled the room. The artifacts began to glow brighter, casting patterns on the walls. Lyra felt a gentle pull toward the heart of knowledge, a sensation she could not explain. Kale stepped closer to her, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We have to work together," he said softly. "The humans' lessons are not just about inventions. They are about courage, trust, and understanding. If we can unlock this, we can learn what made them extraordinary." Lyra nodded, her eyes wide with determination. "Then let's do it. I want to understand them. I want to learn." Kyle smiled faintly. "Good, but remember, this is just the beginning. Humans left their knowledge in layers. Each layer is a challenge, a test of understanding and character. If we are not careful, we could trigger protections we cannot control." Lyra's excitement only grew. "I'm ready. I've waited for this moment my whole life, even if I didn't know it." Kyle gestured toward a scroll etched with strange human symbols. "Then let's start with this. Humans use logic, intuition, and courage in combination. To understand their lessons, we must do the same. Watch closely, learn, and trust each other." Together, they began to study the scroll. Lyra's mind worked to decode the symbols, while Kale's understanding of human methods guided her. They discussed, argued, and laughed, learning not just about humans but also about each other. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. The chamber hummed softly, reacting to their progress. Every correct solution brought a faint glow, a gentle confirmation that they were moving closer to the humans' intended knowledge. Finally, as the golden light of the artifacts dimmed for the day, Lyra looked at Kale. This is amazing. I never imagined humans could be so remarkable." Kale nodded, placing a hand gently on the heart of knowledge. "They were. And if we do this right, we can honor their legacy. We can show the galaxy what humans were capable of, without losing their secrets." Lyra smiled, feeling a mix of pride, excitement, and wonder. She knew that this journey had only just begun, but she also knew that together, she and Kale could unlock the mysteries hidden in the human relics. As they left the chamber and carefully closed the hidden panel, Lyra felt a thrill of anticipation. Tomorrow they would return. Tomorrow they would uncover more secrets, and perhaps, just perhaps, they would begin to understand the extraordinary courage and brilliance of humans. A legacy that still lived, waiting to inspire the galaxy. Lyra walked slowly down the crowded hall of the academy, her long silver hair brushing lightly against the sleeve of her uniform. The alien students around her chatted and laughed, their voices blending into a soft hum of excitement. Today was no ordinary day. She could feel it in her chest, a strange flutter of curiosity that refused to go away. Across the hall, Kale moved with a quiet confidence that made him stand out. He wasn't like the other students. For one, he was human, a species that most aliens had only read about in books. For another, he carried an air of calmness, a sense of knowing something that others didn't. Lyra had noticed him for weeks, but today was different. He moved differently, more purposefully, as if he was following a secret path that no one else could see. "Where's he going?" Lyra whispered to herself. Her curiosity tugged at her, pulling her toward him. She had tried to ignore it before, telling herself humans were rare, strange, and sometimes mysterious, but she couldn't. Something about him called to her mind. As Kyle left the main hall and slipped into a narrow corridor, Lyra hesitated for a moment. The corridor was rarely used by students, shadowed and quiet. Only the hum of the overhead lights and the distant chatter of other classrooms filled the air. Her instincts screamed that this was not just curiosity. This was an adventure waiting to happen. She took a deep breath and followed. The corridor twisted and turned, leading her past walls covered in ancient scripts, glowing softly with alien energy. Lyra tried to keep a safe distance, but Kale seemed to move in a way that drew attention. He didn't glance over his shoulder. He didn't even seem aware that anyone might follow. Lyra, careful and silent, stayed hidden in the shadows, her heart beating faster with every step. Finally, Kale reached the end of the corridor. He stopped in front of a wall that looked ordinary at first glance. Lyra held her breath. She had expected a door, perhaps a storage room. But this wall had nothing remarkable, except for a faint shimmer along one of its edges. Kale's hand hovered over the wall, his fingers tracing invisible lines. Then with a soft click, a section of the wall slid open, revealing a hidden chamber bathed in golden light. Lyra gasped softly, pressing herself against the wall to hide. Her eyes widened at the sight inside. The chamber was filled with objects that looked ancient and strange. Old tools, devices that seemed too advanced for their time, and papers with strange symbols and diagrams that no alien she knew could fully understand. At the center of the room was a glowing artifact, pulsing gently like it had a heartbeat of its own. Kale stepped inside the chamber with reverence, almost as if he were entering a sacred temple. He knelt near the glowing object, his eyes scanning the surrounding relics. Lyra's curiosity burned stronger than ever. What was this place? Why was Kale here? And most importantly, what was the secret of these human relics? Kale spoke softly to himself in a language Lyra had only heard in books. So this is the last record of human knowledge, hidden from the galaxy. His voice carried a mixture of awe and sadness, a feeling Lyra had never expected. Humans were considered a lost species, almost a legend, yet here was one who could understand their secrets. Lyra's mind raced. She wanted to step forward, to ask questions, to reach out, but she hesitated. How could she interrupt such a moment? How could she possibly explain herself after following him here? Instead, she stayed hidden, silently watching, feeling as if she had stumbled upon a miracle. The room itself seemed alive. The relics glowed softly, casting shimmering patterns on the walls. Some objects hummed with energy. One device, a small metallic box with strange buttons, emitted a quiet rhythm, almost like it was waiting for someone to understand it. Lyra could feel the energy brushing against her skin, a gentle reminder that these were not just old objects. They were pieces of a human story that had survived the centuries. Kyle carefully lifted a paper scroll from a pile. He unrolled it and studied the symbols with concentration. This is incredible, he whispered. They had designs for machines, for tools, for ways to survive that no one else ever thought of. Humans were clever and brave. Lyra couldn't help but step a little closer, her curiosity overcoming her fear. She wanted to ask, how do you know all this? How do you understand them? But she stopped herself. Kale was focused, and she didn't want to disturb the moment. Instead, she watched as Kale moved to a small pedestal in the center of the room. The glowing artifact rested there, pulsing with a golden light that seemed to respond to Kale's presence. He placed his hands near it, and a holographic image sprang to life above the pedestal. It showed scenes of humans long gone, humans building, exploring, fighting, and discovering. Their courage and intelligence shone from the images, each movement full of determination. Lyra felt a strange warmth in her chest. She had read about humans in history books, but seeing them through Kale's eyes was different. Humans were not just a story. They were real. They had lived, they had achieved, and their legacy still lingered in the galaxy. Kyle turned slightly, almost as if sensing her presence, though he did not see her. Humans, they were not like us, he said softly. They faced impossible odds, yet they never gave up. Every invention, every idea, every act of courage, it was part of who they were. Lyra's hands tightened into fists. She felt a sudden surge of inspiration. Humans, though gone, could teach lessons even now. And Kale was the key to understanding those lessons. She realized that following him had been the right choice, that curiosity had led her to something bigger than herself. But even as she admired the scene, a flicker of worry crossed her mind. What if someone discovered the chamber? What if the Academy authorities forbade this knowledge? Could she trust Kale? Or was this secret too dangerous to know? Her mind swirled with questions, yet one thought was clear. She needed to learn more, to understand the humans and their hidden relics. Kale carefully placed the scroll back on the pile and moved to the glowing artifact. The room seemed to respond to him, the light pulsing faster as if recognizing someone worthy. Lyra's eyes widened. She had never felt such energy before. This was no ordinary artifact. It held knowledge, history, and perhaps even power. For a long moment, the room was silent except for the soft hum of energy. Lyra felt a shiver run down her spine. She knew that she had stumbled upon something extraordinary. Humans were gone from the galaxy, but their legacy had survived in this hidden chamber, and Kale had found it. Finally, Kale stood, holding a small device that seemed to glow with the same golden light as the artifact. He looked around the room one last time and whispered, "I have to protect this. The galaxy must remember what humans were capable of." Lyra's heart raced. She wanted to step out of the shadows, to speak, to introduce herself. But she waited. She wanted to understand him first, to see how he treated the legacy he had found, And as she watched Kale leave the chamber, carefully closing the hidden panel behind him, she made a silent promise. She would learn the secrets of this place, no matter what it took. As she slipped back into the corridor, her mind was alive with thoughts. The academy suddenly seemed different, ordinary in its normality compared to the hidden world she had just discovered. She walked home slowly, thinking about the humans, the relics, and Kale. Something told her that this was only the beginning of a journey, one that would change her life and perhaps the understanding of the galaxy itself. And somewhere deep inside, a small spark of determination grew. Lyra knew that tomorrow she would follow Kale again. She would uncover the secrets of the human relics and perhaps, just perhaps, learn what made humans so extraordinary. The stars outside the academy twinkled like distant eyes, and Lyra looked up at them, her heart filled with curiosity, hope, and the quiet thrill of adventure.